So next up, we have Cole and Spencer, who are going to talk about the compound dashboard that they built as part of being a grant recipient. So we'll welcome both of them here on stage. And Cole and Spencer, whenever you're ready, feel free to get started. Welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So thank you everyone for coming today, and really appreciate the invite to the talk today. We are going to be presenting some work that we did for the Compound Grants program called the Compound Dashboard, which is an analytics dashboard for the Compound protocol. You can actually go visit it now at compoundfinance.info if you want to check it out yourself. And what it is a dashboard for a holistic view of the Compound protocol itself and a deeper dive into analytics. So talk a little bit about ourselves. We are Paperclip Labs. We are an agency focused on building Web3 products. So we design, develop, and focus on user research and strategy. Our backgrounds are in the traditional tech world. And we kind of realized that there was an opportunity here for us to bring our skill set to the grants program. So my name is Cole, and joining me today is Spencer. You may have noticed our last names are the same. We are actually brothers, and we started Paperclip Labs about 6 months ago. Want to give a massive shout out to Larry, actually, for really kind of getting us started and kind of asking us every day when we were going to quit our jobs and come and do this full time. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what we built and the learnings that we learned from what we actually built, what else we've done, and what we're hoping to do next as an agency focused in this space.
Yeah, so first what we built is an analytics website for the Compound protocol. Before we kind of get into what it is or kind of how we built it, I kind of want to say why we built it. So initially we were looking to invest in a stablecoin market in Compound, and we were interested in seeing the historical interest rates to see which market had performed the best over time. There wasn't really any data on this. I looked on the Compound website and a few other websites, couldn't really find anything. I messaged in the Compound Discord and said, is there currently a way to see historical market interest rates? The response was kind of not really. I looked at the Discord and also saw other people had mentioned this earlier in the weeks past. So we saw this as an opportunity to kind of create a product here to help people get more information about the Compound protocol. So for our MVP, we just built a really simple website, which showed the APY over time, taking data from the Compound API. Now, this is kind of where the project is going to stop. We kind of answered our question about what stablecoin we wanted to invest in. And, we shared this with the community, hoping it would help some other people as well. At the time, the Compound Grants was just forming. So actually one of the community members who was helping out with the Compound Grants committee introduced us to Larry. We spoke with Larry about this, and he kind of convinced us to kind of pursue this further. So we applied for a grant to provide a website that would provide a holistic view of the Compound protocol data and provide users data that they wanted to see to make informed investment decisions. So this kind of brought us to the first stage of building this app out, which is the initial research.
So in the initial research phase, we had a list of ideas of what we could do for this dashboard. We knew that we needed to compare interest rates over time, but didn't really know what else the community might want. So we reached out to the community via the Discord and sent out a survey, just asking people, what do you actually want to see from an analytics dashboard? What's missing right now? And what can we build to hopefully fill that void? We got some really great results from this. And one of the bits of feedback that we received initially, we actually brought forward with us, and this is kind of our North Star that we used when designing and building out the first iteration of the product and any future sets moving forward. And that quote was, I think making sure that a community member sent to us was, I think making sure that every number on the page is meaningful, even to the most novice of users. This was really valuable and really kind of set the stage for the way that we built the product itself. We also wanted to ask what already exists out there. Were there other tools that could do this? What other tools are kind of the best-in-class solution? One of the platforms that we kind of referenced often is the Uniswap info dashboard. This is a really easy dashboard to use and gives you a great overall view of the protocol, as well as individual markets within Uniswap. So we kind of felt like this was a great opportunity for Compound to have something similar. When it came to how could we compare interest rates over time, we looked at a lot of different financial applications. And the one that we found that did a really great job from a user experience was Google Finance. There's a really neat feature in Google Finance that allows you to compare stocks prices over time. And we felt that we could bring that feature into the dashboard itself. So in this image here, you can see that we are comparing, at the bottom, there's a line item of little pills that you can click on, and you can compare different interest rates over time by selecting different time frames.
So this is Compound Info. This is the protocol overview page. On this page, it has information and data about the Compound protocol as a whole. So you see things like supply and borrow, as well as reserves over time. A few key pieces of information, like how many unique users and utilization. And you'll notice throughout the application, there's these headings, like the utilization one. It has these small underlines underneath. Probably might be hard to see in this image. But as the user hovers over this, they get a tooltip that pops up. And it explains what utilization is, how it's calculated, and why it's useful. This is important that, no matter what caliber of users using this interface, they'll be able to learn about different things of the Compound protocol if they aren't already aware. Down below, there's a table of all the Compound markets. So here, there's a few key statistics. And if we go and click into the DAI market, we can get into the individual markets page. So the main piece of information here is that APY over time chart that Cole showed. So you can compare the supply and borrow API with and without the comp distribution of different assets over time. You also have some key statistics about the market. Again, all these headings are tooltips that the user can hover over to get more information if they're not sure what this piece of data is. And below, there's another chart which shows supply, borrow, and reserves over time for the individual asset. So kind of how it was built and the development stack behind this. The Compound API provides really good data about about the current market, but we weren't able to pull all the data in from there about historical interest rates and all the time series data to populate our charts. Actually, a community member from the Compound Discord reached out and introduced us to Flipside Crypto. Flipside is a data aggregator for the blockchain. They aggregate on-chain data into these tables that allow users to query them off-chain. So what we did is write SQL queries, and then a really powerful tool that they have is exporting these queries as an API. So we talked to the Flipside Crypto team, asked them if it was okay to use their application for data for hours. So they're kind of our backend for all the time series data. We use gas now for the gas information on the website, and then the Compound API for any of the current information, like market statistics. This all comes into our React application on the front end and gets displayed, and we use recharts for our plotting libraries. So once we release this to the community, we kind of put it out in the community Discord, DM'd a few members that were really active and just kind of wanted to get some feedback. Initially, everybody said, this is really cool. They find this really useful, but they wanted to see more. So this is one quote from a community member that says, "This is awesome. Do the interest rates include comp? Any way to get more information there as part of historical rates?" At the time, our APY chart didn't include the comp distribution. So we actually had this kind of in the pipeline. It was a feature that was coming, but so we implemented this. We were able to implement this pretty easily to toggle on and off the comp distribution for your assets. So essentially, there was a lot of requests similar to this one from community members. And we kind of got thinking, what other value can we bring to the table? What other things can we do? And what are our next steps here?
Yeah, so with regards to next steps, as Spencer mentioned, we reached out to the community again, this time with another survey, asking community members what they wanted to see, what additional things they wanted to see beyond the current version of the analytics dashboard that we had built. We received some really great feedback from the community members, and we ended up taking that feedback and compiling some feature sets that we were actually able to come back to the grants committee and apply for a second grant to continue building the dashboard itself. So we're currently actually working on the next version of the dashboard. and that we'll be slowly releasing some new features for that in the coming weeks. Today, we want to also talk about like what we learned actually working for the grant committee or the Compound Grants program. So the first thing is that we learned working here is that the timelines are self-driven. As a grant recipient, you set the timeline as well as the milestones for your project. So it's really important that if you are thinking about doing a grant, you really our recommendation would be setting realistic timelines and milestones for you to hit and achieve so you can build that product and get that out. Another thing we learned is there's many ways to gather feedback. You don't have to just use the Discord channel. You can use things like Twitter, Reddit, DM community members, and even like searching historical information in Discord. You can find some really great questions from community members about possible features that might be missing. Another thing we learned is that you prioritize the features. At the beginning, we mentioned this quote that we received from a user saying that that dashboard should be as easy for a novice user to use. When we got feedback from the community, we did have to think about making sure that the information that we're going to be displaying and new features that we might input into the dashboard meet that criteria of being easy to use. So we did have to kind of cut some community feedback. We felt in some cases there was some feedback that was maybe more of an advanced feature that you could probably find or build and do an analytics dashboard or some other dashboard. We felt that our analytics dashboard was really just focused on that core community or core novice user of the protocol and giving a pretty good understanding of what's going on within the protocol itself. And the last thing is that the community is amazing and awesome. We found that people are so willing to give you feedback and help you. As Spencer mentioned, a community member reaching out and introducing us to the Flipside team. So our biggest recommendation is if you are working on a grant or thinking about working for a grant, reach out to the community. You can get some really great feedback from them and learn a ton as well. So that was one of the grants that we did. We've actually worked on 2 other Compound grants along the way, and we'll quickly just share with you some of the other grants we've worked on. So we had the opportunity to do help with the Compound grants branding. We partnered with the Compound design team, and massive shout out to Jason on the design team for really supporting us throughout this experience. You can check out that Compound grants branding on the Twitter pages or on the Compound grants website. We also worked on a platform called Stake Signal, which is almost like a margin call tool for the Compound protocol. We worked on the branding, product design, and user research phases for this product. And actually, Patrick is going to be sharing in the next talk, so we won't talk too much more about this, but wanted to kind of share some of the other things we've been able to do. So what's next for us? So from the Compound Grants program and the work that we've done here, we've actually got some other projects, which has been really amazing for us as an agency to keep building. So most recently, we did the branding, logo, and website for the DeFi Education Fund. We've had some opportunities to work on some really cool projects in the NFT and gaming spaces, which we hopefully will be able to share in the future. As we worked in this industry as well, we've kind of realized there is a bit of a gap for contractors and freelancers with regards to kind of getting paid and getting set up. So we're currently thinking about working on our own project at the moment about how we could kind of make that transition easier for a freelancer, et cetera, coming into the space and how getting paid can work and manage. We're also always looking to work with grants as well. So if you do have any grants or are interested in working with us in the future, please feel free to reach out. You can send us a DM on Twitter, which is @PaperclipLabs, or you can check out our website, which will be posting some information about our some of our projects that we've worked on in the near future. So you can check that out as well. Again, thanks so much for having us today. I really hope that everyone has the opportunity and thinks about applying for the grant. We would highly recommend the Compound Grants program as a place to get started and build some cool products.
Amazing. Cole, Spencer, that was an incredible presentation, and this is such amazing work. We're getting a lot of great comments on the chat too about how impressed everybody is with the UI and all of your feature plans. I was going to ask you how people can get involved, but you already ended with that. So everybody check out paperclip.xyz, and this is amazing. Let us know how anybody else can contribute to this. This is great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. So